All right, welcome everybody to day 3 of Thank-a-thon 2020, the Community Gratitude Challenge, which is presented by Douglas College. Thank you, Douglas College, for your support. So what is Thank-a-thon? Thank-a-thon is, as we said, it's a community gratitude challenge. And, we know that there was, that this pandemic has really created a lot of stress and anxiety out there. I know I feel it every day, the uncertainty, what's going to happen, the friction between in families of what to do and what not to do. So we wanted to do something that was for the community, that would really support the well-being of the community. And that was Thank-a-thon 2020. So that's what it's about. It's really about people sharing a thank you message for the people that really make this a great community to live in. We really live in a great community, and so I'm grateful for that. So this is about sharing a thank you post for that favorite small business owner, because many of them are struggling and could really use the support, or that frontline worker that really just makes your day, or even a friend or neighbor. So go out there and share a thank you message and use the hashtag Thank-a-thon 2020, hashtag Thank-a-thon 2020. We also got a social media contest. If you're not aware of that, go to thankathon.ca. We're giving away a $1,100 prize, but it's a little extra to enter. So check that out. All right. Tonight's sponsored by the City of New Westminster. So we're really grateful for their ongoing support of the Chamber. They work really hard at the city to support businesses, and we're really proud to be partnering with them on many different events, and this being one of them. And tonight, I'm really excited to have with me Ashley Choi, who is Miss Friendship 2020, one of the Hyack ambassadors. And we asked the Hyack Association if they would support us in Thank-a-thon by interviewing some local businesses about the impact that the pandemic has had on them, and also what the community can do to support them. And so they stepped up and were awesome. And so we're so lucky to have Ashley with us. So Ashley, go ahead and fire yourself up there. I think you're still with us. There she is.
Good evening.
Good evening. So welcome, Ashley. How are you today?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Oh, fantastic. Thanks for asking. So we're featuring 4 interviews tonight, and I've got some questions from Ashley, and she's going to bring the youth perspective on this pandemic and what's happening in her community, and also just, I guess, what it was like to interview them as a Hyack ambassador. So let me ask you a question. What was it? Oh, no, I forgot. I've always, so each night, this is the 3rd night in a row, and so I'm getting a little batty here, but each night, because it's a thank-a-thon, I asked my co-host to share what it was that they're thankful for today. So Ashley, what are you thankful for today?
Well, I'm really thankful for the opportunity to be able to be here and share my thoughts with everyone.
All right, that's great. I'm really thankful. I've got 2 daughters, and my wife takes care of them. Just great job right now. She's homeschooling them. I can't believe she's doing this. So amazing. But I'm really grateful because they're so loving, that they really take care of me. And anytime that I'm feeling down, or if there's like, if I'm upset, they come up, Papa, it's okay. And they give me a hug and make me smile. So I'm really grateful to have two daughters who make me smile every single day. All right, so now we had you do these interviews. What was it like from your perspective to go out in the community and really ask businesses how they were doing?
Well, I found it really insightful because I haven't really had the chance to, speak to anyone whose, actual livelihoods were impacted by the pandemic. So it was really, eye-opening, and I found them really upbeat and motivated. Everyone had a really, really positive attitude. So it was really encouraging to see, how positive they were being, and everyone was very dedicated to their work and dedicated to making those around them feel good.
Oh, that's very cool. Well, I'm glad it was enlightening. Hopefully, you can share
Yeah, absolutely.
with your friends. So our first interview is actually with Jessica Schneider, who runs both the Massey Theatre and the Anvil Center. And she is one of the most articulate and smart ladies you'll ever meet. And she's just absolutely lovely. So we're going to go ahead and get that queued up with NewWest.tv. And thanks, Deepak, for all your partnership in this. And so go ahead and run that interview.
Good afternoon and welcome to the New Westminster Chamber of Commerce Thank-a-thon 2020, a a community gratitude event for our city. My name is Moira Young, and I have the honor and responsibility of being Miss NewWestminster 2020 for our royal city. At this time, I would like to say I am very grateful for my sponsor in the Hyack Leadership program, Queen's Park Dental. Today, I'm interviewing Ms. Sonia Kennedy, Director of Development at Urban Academy. The Urban Academy learning experience is where students discover themselves and the world through a focus on connections and creativity that leads to the highest possible academic performance. Good afternoon, Ms. Kennedy.
Good afternoon, Moira. Thanks for having me.
Of course. My first question is, who would you like to thank, or what are you thankful for?
Well, I think first of all, I'm grateful that we have an opportunity and that the Chamber is featuring gratitude, because I think there's so much going on in this world right now that to stop and to be grateful for what we have is really important. So right off the bat, that is a good start, I think. Also, our community. So obviously, I work in a school, and it's a challenging time. Our kids, our parents, the community, the extended community, they've just shown such resilience in a really, really strange time. So for that, we are grateful every day for them to come in with their energy and the desire to learn. I think is something that's a bit infectious around here. So we moved into Sapperton 2 Marches ago, so about a year and a half ago, and there have been so many businesses and so many people who have really opened up their community to us and their hearts to us, and I think that's been a really positive thing. And the Royal Columbian Hospital, actually, which is, we see a lot of the staff walk by, so we're very much reminded of frontline staff right now too, and a lot of our families are connected to RCH in one way or another. So we're grateful for the frontline staff. We're grateful for that community. We see them walking by our windows every day on their way up there. So soon the timing is good. We actually have a little gratitude project coming to them in the next couple of weeks that the kids have been working on. So.
Oh, absolutely. I love that. I totally agree with you. My second question is, what keeps you going, or what is the passion/purpose that drives you?
Well, when working with kids, again, seeing their determination, they're on this journey of learning. Things are hard for them. Concepts don't always come easily and quickly, but it's ironic right now we're listening to band starting, grade 6 band starting, which is an experience. You might actually hear it outside my office. And you can tell, and one of the teachers just walked by and said, wow, that's a lot. And it is a lot in those early stages of learning an instrument. But I also said, but the fulfillment of what happens kind of come spring with, they've been working on it and then they're getting it and it's sounding really, really good. And that, it's easy to hear in something like band, but in all of their work, putting in that effort and seeing them come through and learning things and getting things and be excited about things, that rubs off on all of us. Being able to kind of be privy to some of that work is really meaningful, and that really is what drives us. And one of our founders, actually, I remember her saying, this was 9 years ago, she said, I might not change the world directly, but I might impact somebody who will. And so that's sort of how I feel about working in a school too, is that you are able to impact kids' lives, which is great.
Yeah, that's honestly amazing. Next, can you describe the impact that the pandemic has had on your business, and how have you pivoted to meet those challenging times?
Oh, this is that's a big question for us. Well, the spring, everything shut down, including schools, and pivoting into online learning is, it's a new way of doing things. It's not how we always have done things. It's not how we've run the business of the school either. So just being able to be responsive and to let some things go and to focus on what really matters. It was quite an adjustment, as you can imagine. But the teachers were able to respond, and they were so generous with their time and gracious in that shift, but also the kids. I mean, I also have two at home who are at this school, and just their ability to kind of go, okay, well, this is what we're faced with. This is what we're doing. This is what's going to keep people safe. They were really resilient and able to respond in that way. And I know it's hard, and especially kids with different learning profiles, and being able to still be able to support them in their learning was really, really important to us. So yeah, it's been challenging. We can't even have parents in the school anymore. There are community pieces that I also oversee, all of our community groups, and it's tough not being able to do that. But I think we're finding a way. I think, you know, being creative and the use of technology, something just like this, finding those ways that are really meaningful to people. So we're changing every day, and every new part of the year is going to be new in some way. But you just have to be open to, you know, not holding on super tight to how things were, but kind of going, okay, well, now what are we doing?
Yeah, I know the feeling. My school's changed a lot too. It's just a lot of adjustments for sure.
Totally.
My final question for you is, what specific thing can the community do to support you or your business?
Yeah, I read this question, and I think the last little bracket said, or businesses like yours. And I mean, we're in the business of education, and many people like yourself, many people are touched by it in some way or another. And I think just sort of speaking on behalf a little bit of maybe a wider industry, is that people who work in schools, teachers, support staff, admin, they've dedicated their lives to educating kids. And in this sort of pandemic time, I think it's important just to have a little bit of, if I'm speaking on behalf of an industry, a little bit of patience for the teachers out there, a little bit of flexibility as people are all trying to figure out how to do new and hard things that nobody really went to school for. I think, you know, just that extra little dose of grace while we're all sort of trying to jumble through this. And I know teachers are so passionate about doing right by their little people. And so I think when I read that question of what can the community do to support us, I think it's just being mindful that it's a new world out there, and people are trying hard and doing their best, and some people are really shining, and I think that's exciting too, that even if it is a strange and interesting and new time, that there are people who can and are kind of looking at this and going, okay, it's tough, but we've got this. So I think just understanding that from a point of view from someone working within a school.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And that wraps it up. So thank you, Ms. Kennedy, for sharing with us today and for your support of the community.
Thank you.
So you may have noticed that was not Jessica Schneider from the Massey Theatre and the Andal Center. I noticed that. I guess we were a bit of a victim of a mislabeled video. That's on our part. You know, I've been really demanding of NewWestTV, who has been so great supporting us and giving him very little time to prepare for these things. So I apologize for that error. That was mine. But we're going to have her queued up next. But I've got another question for Ashley, because I found her first question so insightful. And I thought it was really interesting what Sonia said is, it's just to remember that, you know, all of us are in this new world together, and you never know what someone's going through internally. Like we're kind of programmed to put on the face, but oftentimes we are, you know, they've got a lot going on, and so everybody is dealing with change, and that is always stressful. So I loved what her message was around just being patient and kind. What do you think about that, Ashley?
Yeah, I absolutely agree. That was really insightful as well.
Excellent. Okay, so now I got a question for you.
Okay.
I'm curious, how has like obviously we're in a different generation altogether, but how has COVID affected you or your friends?
Oh, well, I'm very grateful that I haven't had, firsthand experiences with the disease itself, impacting me and, the people around me. So I'm very lucky that all the impacts have been, not life-changing, and not too difficult. But yeah, I think our school schedule is obviously really, really different. I mean, I only go to school maybe 2 times a week for a couple of hours. It's kind of sad because it is our last year and I find myself missing school now. I never thought that would happen, but now I want to go to school. Like, I'm looking forward to it. So yeah, but I'm grateful that it hasn't been any worse than that.
Well, that doesn't sound too bad, but it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's the same thing as work for grown-ups. It's a struggle, it's a challenge, but it also gives us a sense of purpose. And when that's taken away, oftentimes people are really listful and they don't really their energy kind of gets lost. So I think it's really interesting you say that. That might actually be one of the best gifts you have, is just that understanding that when you're engaged in something that really takes all of your effort, that it's actually something you want to be grateful for, as opposed to something you want to regret or
Yeah.
Great. All right. Well, let's get on. So I didn't introduce Sonia in such a beautiful way because I actually don't know Sonia very well, but I do know Jessica, and she is wonderful. And hopefully we got it queued up this time for an interview from Jessica about the Massey, because people who are leading venues right now, theaters, whatever it is, they're really having a huge impact. So I'm really interested to hear what Jessica has to say.
Good afternoon and welcome to the New Westminster Chamber of Commerce Thank-a-thon 2020, a community gratitude event for our city. My name is Moira Young and I have the honor and responsibility of being Miss New Westminster 2020 for our royal city. At this time, I would like to say I'm very grateful for my sponsor in the Hyack Leadership program, Queen's Park Dental. Today I'm interviewing Ms. Jessica Schneider, Executive Director of Massey Theatre. Massey Theatre opened in 1949 as BC's largest theatre. Since then, its lights have shone on thousands of performances and has become a cherished and beloved space to experience the arts of our royal city. Residents and indeed for performers and audience members from around the world. Good afternoon, Ms. Schneider. My first question for you is, who would you like to thank, or what are you thankful for?
Wow, it's so important to be grateful, and especially during challenging times. So I have to thank artists, performing artists and visual artists, literary artists. Artists inspire me, and they've been a tremendous sort of crutch during these difficult times that we've been going through. So the artists in my life and the artists in the world, and the artists in our community, I'm just so extremely grateful for all that you continue to contribute.
Yeah, that's a beautiful answer. I dance, and I just love seeing my friends dance back in the studio when things got a little bit better. My second question for you is, what keeps you going, or what is your passion or purpose that drives you?
Well, it's kind of a connection to my last answer, which is just a chance to elevate artists, to bring them into visibility, and to create access to the arts for the community. When we were unable to do that initially, and still we're just so greatly diminished, and we don't see that end in sight right now. But what kept me going was just this knowledge that that our spirits and our emotional states and our wellness overall as people is dependent on arts and culture, and that anything I could do within my role to continue that and to offer that to the community and to make those connections was worth doing. So it helped me to be motivated and to stay focused on what matters in terms of what I can do.
Absolutely. Thanks so much. My third question is, can you describe the impact that the pandemic has had on your business? How have you pivoted to meet these challenging times?
Well, the Massey Theatre in particular is a very large venue with over 1,260 seats. Obviously, those kind of gatherings just screech to a halt. And the arts, performing arts, the funding model is interesting. There is some subsidy available, but a lot of the arts happening is funded by ticket sales. So large scale performances, they just cost too much if you can't bring in a lot of people to see them. And in a venue like that, it was devastating. We work with promoters and presenters who rent the theater as well as our own presentations. And there are very few of our clientele that use the theater regularly that are doing anything right now because they need it only for very large events, which they can't do. So what we've done is we've stepped into that space and said, okay, well, we can present some offerings for 50 at a time. We do have some funding and some ability to do that. It's more of the programming than what we normally do, but we also believe that it's imperative for artists to remain visible and also for people to remain in touch with art and performance and human expression. So our main pivot has just been to step into the space and make sure that whatever we could do, we would do. And also that, the basics of enabling recordings and streaming opportunities. We'd like to go further with that, but we have been able to ensure that some of those offerings were made available this year. So it's a work in progress, really, in terms of how the arts can pivot. The difference between live gatherings and online gatherings and whether theaters have a position in online content or not remains kind of up in the air, and it's a bit of an experiment. But certainly we've been offering performances and we are announcing more performances, and so just finding the ways to do it and to create social and cultural opportunities has been all new and all different, but still in keeping with who we are and what we do.
Yeah, definitely a time of adjustment, but I'm happy to hear that you guys are progressing well. My final question for you is, what specific thing can the community do to support you and or businesses like yours?
Well, most of the performing arts and many arts organizations are registered charities. The Massey Theatre Society is a registered charity, so we can issue deductible tax receipts. And what we really hope to do right now is to, upgrade all that recording and streaming equipment so that it's more accessible, so that we can have in-person performances that are also streaming to community members who have more barriers, either financially or in terms of their health and their ability to go out right now or be in groups. So so if anybody out there is interested in helping the Massey Theatre put that streaming and recording equipment in place, we can target donations and issue tax receipts for that purpose. And I think it will really bring more local activation back to the theater, as well as more access for our community members and seniors who just are not likely to come to the theater for a while.
Yeah, I love that so much. Thank you. Well, that's it. So thank you, Ms. Schneider, for sharing with us today and for your support within our community.
Oh, well, you're welcome. And everybody, I hope you keep on enjoying the arts and remembering how much they can lift you up. And thank you for including us.
Thanks so much. Bye.
Awesome. Well, she did a great job. I really loved what Jessica had to say there. It's true around, the streaming. One of the things that I'm learning, you think that all it is like, oh, we have.
At this time, I would like to say that.
Hi, Tiana. Nice to see you. But we're going to come up to you next. So just like I said, you think that this streaming stuff is really easy, but there's actually to stream something online is quite a lag. If you're not going to use one of the social media channels, it can be quite difficult. So I've certainly learned a ton about that. I just thought, oh, well, we'll just have these events, throw them on Zoom and away you go. But it really doesn't work that way. So Ashley, what did you think about Jessica's interview there?
Yeah, I think it was really nice to see how passionate she was about, her work and helping the kids.
Yeah, no, it's the arts are such an important aspect of the community. I met Jessica. She used to manage the Fire Hall Theatre in Vancouver, and about 20 years ago, I was the co-producer of a musical called The Last 5 Years. I was the first one to bring it to Canada, and she was the theater manager at the time. So I met her a long time ago. So we go way back, although we didn't talk to each other for a long time, but then we kind of reconnected when she was at the Massey. All
Oh,
right.
wow.
Yeah, kind of neat.
Yeah.
So you kind of talked a bit about the impact of COVID, but is there anything like that you used to, I mean, you said you missed school, but is there anything else that you missed that you used to be able to do that you just can't really do anymore? I mean, I know there's some stuff for me, but I'm just wondering from your perspective.
Yeah, definitely. I miss the swimming pool the most because I was training to be a lifeguard, prior, and then everything shut down, and then I couldn't train anymore. Obviously, swimming is kind of that sport where you really need like the area to really be able to do it. So, you can't, it's not like running, you can just go, outside, but I can't do it in my bathtub. So,
Yeah, I know that's, I
yeah,
can
I miss
imagine that
that.
it probably wouldn't have the same impact to swimming in your
Yeah,
bathtub.
probably not. I just feel kind of out of shape now. So yeah, I'm getting back into it. So yeah, that's nice.
Well, and it's really interesting, just not like the impact. You don't think about that, people's
Yeah.
being impacted. That's really great. So you want to be a lifeguard? I know that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So we've got 2 more interviews for you. One's from just a great guy in New Westminster, Rich Patterson, who actually really supported Thank-a-thon by designing some designer masks. So if you haven't been to the website to check those out, I mean, everybody kind of needs a mask now. And so to have kind of one that's a bit cool, I think goes a long way. So this next interview is Rich Patterson, and let's find out what he has to say about the impact on his business and what people can do to support businesses like his.
At this time, I would like to say that I'm very grateful for my sponsors in the Hyack Leadership Program, the Royal City and Westminster Rotary Clubs. Today, I'm interviewing Mr. Rich Patterson, the owner of Patterson Brands, his own company that transforms clients' brands into elevated and engaging products, designs, and packaging. Good afternoon, Mr. Patterson, and thank you for joining me in this gratitude interview today.
Hi, Tiana.
My first question is, who would you like to thank, or what are you grateful for?
Well, this past 6 months has been something else, as you know, and I want to thank you for this opportunity to be here, and thank you for your service to the community, Tiana. This is a really good project you're involved in, so congratulations to you.
Thank you so much.
And I am really thankful. In the last few weeks, I've been thinking about all my clients who've come back. And it's easy in these times to focus on what's not working, and business is not great, honestly, and we can talk more about that. But I am definitely thankful for the clients who've come back, and many, many of them have. And a lot of them are New Westminster based, so we really have to give a special shout out to Steel and Oak and El Santo and our friends at Tin House Brewing. And these are all the kind of New West businesses that have come back and really helped us out. So we do appreciate that.
That's really great. All right, so my second question is, what keeps you going, or what is the passion or purpose that drives you?
Well, I think we have a kind of a twofold passion here that drives us, and we really want to see small business succeed. So that's what we do here. We try to help small businesses market themselves, connect with clients, and engage with clients. And so that's what really keeps us going. And we're in the same boat. We're a small business, and we want to do that with our clients.
It's great that you have like such a great, clear passion for your business there. So my third question is, describe the impact that the pandemic has had on your business. How have you pivoted to meet these challenging times?
Well, it has had a very striking impact, and I guess I might have been naive in the first few weeks, but and this sounds cliched to say this phrase, you might have heard it before, but you just honestly don't know what you got till it's gone. And our business went almost to zero right away. And we've definitely come back, but Jane, one of my team members, Jane and I have been working together since 2011, so 9 years. And she's been gone since March 15th, and we've really missed her. And I'm so excited to say that she's coming back on October 5th, so just a few more days. Yay, Jane. That's just an example of having a team member that was such an integral part of our small company. And she just felt at the time, because of COVID, it was best for her to go home and take care of her young family. And we've really missed her. So that'll be great.
Yeah, that's a really hard decision to make, but I'm really glad that she's back for you guys. And my last question for today is, what specific thing can the community do to support you or businesses like yours?
Well, one thing I've really been asking people to think about in the last, say, 3 months or so is after we got over that first hump of COVID closings and now we're in a recovery, I know it's easy for everyone to think of small business as your local brewery, because I even mentioned a couple of my friends, but craft brewers, restaurants, and small stores or something. And that is true. Those are small businesses that have been impacted, and they are easy to think of because they're the ones you visit sort of on a daily basis. But there's a million other small businesses, ones like mine, that do things, that do business to business services, that are tax accountants and lawyers and dentists and things you may not think. And I really challenge people to keep them in your heart and in your minds too, because they're all really important to our community.
Great, thank you. So thanks so much, Mr. Patterson, for sharing with us today and for your support of the community.
Hey, you're welcome. Thanks, Tiana. All the best. Take care.
You too.
Thank you, Rich. Man, I'm a big fan of that guy. I think he's great. We got one more interview in a little while, but with Farhan Lalji with Hyack football and of course of TSN fame. So I'm looking forward to hearing what he has to say. But I thought that what Rich said was really true around.
Good afternoon.
There are a lot of businesses, and I've heard this quite a bit. You know, whether there be dog walkers or cleaners. You know, like a lot of these businesses just like shut down. Cleaners actually in a lot of areas, people didn't want other people coming into their home, and so they really struggled. You think about consultants or various aspects like that. Again, people just stopped hiring them, and so that had a big impact across the board. So I really like what Rich said around there's lots of different kinds of businesses to support. Any comment on that one, Ashley?
Yeah, I think it's really encouraging to see how he really rises above the challenges.
Yeah, I know it's true, and I think that's often people say that small business owners are resilient and creative, and you really have to be. You put your life into your business to try and make it go, and to have it be kind of snatched from you, you fight for it. So it's been really great to see. I had a question for you. Let's see. What was tell me. I really just think the program that the Hyack ambassadors do with the leadership program is just one of the great treasures of New Westminster. What's been your experience with the ambassador program so far?
It's a really rewarding experience, and because I've been able to practice different skills, especially my public speaking skills, because I wasn't really comfortable with that, but now I'm kind of getting better, and I'm, getting to know the community, and I'm really looking forward to hopefully some travel next year.
Very cool. I am so impressed that you said that you're working on your public speaking skills. And when I reached out and said, hey, come and join me on this impromptu interview, that you said yes. I think that speaks volumes about you, Miss Choi. I think that
thank you.
It shows courage, it shows poise, and it shows a willingness to put yourself in a new situation. And I think those three things will really help you in your career moving forward.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. And so one more interview. We got Farhan Lalji. I'm really curious to hear what he has to say. So we're going to toss it over to him, and then we'll just say a quick goodbye after.
Good afternoon, and welcome to the New Westminster Chamber of Commerce Thank-a-thon 2020, a community gratitude event for our city. My name is Ashley Choi, and I am Miss Friendship 2020 for our Royal City. And at this time, I would like to say I'm very grateful for my sponsor in the Hyack Leadership Program, Save on Food. And this afternoon, I am interviewing Mr. Farhan Lalji, who is a Vancouver-based sports reporter for TSN and also former head coach of Hyack football at NWSS. Coach Lalji brought football back to Mercer Stadium in 2003, where the program has now grown to one of BC's premier high school football. Good afternoon, welcome, Mr. Lalji, and thank you for joining me in this gratitude interview. My first question is, who would you like to thank, or what are you grateful for?
Well, more than anything, I'm grateful for the kids that I've coached for so many years and just their support through all of this. Not just the kids that are currently in the program, but the kids that are currently our alumni and have just said, look, how can I help? What can we do? We got to keep the program going during all of this. And the kids have just maintained a tremendous amount of spirit. So for me right now, I'm not coaching the high school team. I'm still out coaching in our youth program because my son is there. But the high school kids, they're on the field right now. They're so optimistic. They're so enthusiastic. They hope so badly that they're going to have a season. So I just appreciate their commitment and their passion and their spirits. And, other people that I really appreciate are sponsors, people like Dave Valley, who've been so instrumental in our program since year one. They've wanted to just stay involved regardless of whether or not there's games. People like Key West Ford, who are doing so much, not just for our program, but for healthcare workers. They've been providing vehicles to a number of different healthcare workers so that they can do their jobs more effectively. And of course, healthcare workers themselves and educators and people that are taking risks to make sure that kids have as much normalcy as possible in what's a pretty awkward year for everybody.
That sounds like you're a really positive attitude. So my second question is, what keeps you going, or what is the passion or purpose that drives you?
Well, for me, the passion that I have, it just comes from seeing young people grow and from seeing a community grow, right? And, I think that that's one thing I've grown to learn myself, is that I've expected over the years, early in my career, that, people need to grow, and they need to grow now while I'm coaching them. And I had really high demands and high expectations that they need to figure it out, and they need to figure it out now. And what I've learned along the way is that people don't always figure it out now. Sometimes they're going to go through their 4 years with you. They're going to learn, they'll improve, but they won't truly figure it out until they're in the workforce, until they're fathers and husbands and things like that. And just seeing that growth has fueled my passion. And, just seeing young people stay committed to all of this and watching them grow at whatever time. Everybody's going to figure it out at some point. It's just a case of whether they figure it out. You hope they figure it out while they're with you, but they may not. But seeing them figure it out, seeing them grow has fueled my passion over the years.
Amazing, thank you. And my third question is, describe the impact that the pandemic has had on your business. How have you pivoted to meet these challenges?
Well, I think the biggest effect the pandemic has had on us is just participation, because there are kids, especially at the younger ages, where their parents are concerned, and rightly so, because they don't want to take additional risk, especially with the kids having to go back to school. So, when you look at the high school program, our numbers are pretty good. And generally it's because kids tend to have a little more independence at that level and a little more decision-making power. But as you get younger, when you look through our program, my son is in grade 7, so his teammates are grade 7 and 8. Our numbers are really high there. But as you get lower, it's, they haven't been as good right now. So I think for us, the biggest thing we want to do is stay patient and try to find a way to change our messaging, and hope that when we get to next spring and potentially when there is the vaccine and we're in a better position to kind of remessage, and parents are a little more comfortable with the new normal, that we just want to stay as visible as possible. You just in their consciousness, in their eyes, in their minds, in their thoughts, and hopefully in their hearts, so that when the time comes and they're more comfortable, they still think of Hyack football and want their kids to participate.
What specific things that can the community do to support you or business?
I think, the biggest thing the community can do is help us stay visible, right? That's the biggest thing, because we want people to know that Hyack football is not going anywhere. There are businesses out there that are closing up shop, and, we're not a business per se, but we certainly want to operate in as professional a way as possible. And I think in the 18 years that we've had football, we've really managed to make our mark in the community. And we want to make sure that if you're a business, if you're a parent, if you're a teacher, if you're involved as a Hyack ambassador, everybody just make sure that we're involved, push our message forward, and make sure that that everybody's comfortable and confident in the fact that when this is all over, and when there's a vaccine, and when people are able to live their lives fully again, that Hyack football is still here, and we want to be a part of your life.
And thank you very much, Mr. Lalji, for sharing with us today and for your support for our community. Thank you. Bye.
All right, Ashley, good job. Nailed that. Some background sound there at the beginning, or maybe that was our technical issues. Anyway, it's amazing. You try and do these things with technology, and there's always kind of these little glitches that go along, and you just kind of roll with it. So now there is the question and answer function. I don't know. Are you open to maybe taking a question from the audience? If I don't know if there'll be, sometimes there isn't, but just in case there is.
Yeah, sure.
Anybody in the audience have a question for us? There's a little question and answer. I'll give you about 10 seconds to kind of type something there, or a couple of minutes. Not a couple of minutes. So thanks everybody for coming. If we get a question, we'll answer it, but I'll just say thank you all for being here. Ashley, thank you for being such an excellent co-host.
Thank you for having me.
Oh yeah, no, our pleasure, our pleasure. Oh, there is a question. Let's go for it. Someone says, what do you hope to do after you graduate?
Oh, that's a really big question.
Yeah,
well, I really hope to go to university in Toronto or in the US. And yeah, because I really want to see more of the world. And in terms of like jobs, I'm not decided, but I want to go into something either in the film industry or the science faculty. Yeah, thank you so much for your question.
Science or film. That, I guess, is kind of a film aspect of science. Anyway, thank you everyone again for being here. Tomorrow night we're talking food. We have a food and lifestyle blogger who I think you know, Karen Ann Davidson, joining us, and also featuring tips from local chefs. So don't forget to keep sharing your thank you posts out there. Use the hashtag Thank-a-thon 2020. If you want a chance to win the Alpine Credits prize package of $1,100, you got to add our sponsors' hashtags, and all that information is on the website at thankathon.ca. That's it. That's all. Any last words, Ashley?
No, thank you so much everyone for attending, and it's a pleasure to be here.
All right, we'll see you all next time. Ending the meeting. See you, everybody.